Art is pleasure, invention is treasure. To invent is to create something new, something that did not exist before. Hello everyone, I'm Sunil Choudhary and you're watching Choudhary's Classic Group. Today I'm going to disclose top 10 archaeological discoveries which changed the world. Number 1. Spear. Humans learned to kill with sharpened poles. Eventually they invented a weapon called spear. The earliest example of a sharpened spear comes from Schongingen, Germany, dated 400,000 BCE. A similar technique was used by hunters in Lehringen near Bremen in Germany, where a complete spear was found embedded inside a mammoth skeleton. Around 60,000 BCE, Neanderthals living in rock shelters and temporary hunting camps in France sharpened small pieces of flint and slotted them into the tips of their spears. The greatest advance, however, came with the development of metalworking, notably copper, in southern East Europe after 5000 BCE, followed by bronze, an alloy of copper and tin around 2300 BCE. These new technologies allowed hunters and warriors to make hard, sharp, effective spear point. Number 2. Fishhook. Early humans discover how to retain the caught fish in the form of fishhook. The earliest examples of fish hooks so far found by archaeologists date from around 35,000 BCE. Appearing well before the advent of metalworking, early fish hooks were fashioned from durable materials of organic origin such as bone, shells, animal horn, and wood. The very earliest fish hooks of all are thought to have been made from wood, although being more perishable than those of bone or shell. Very few examples of these primitive hooks have survived. Over thousands of years, the technology of fish hooks have evolved to optimize prey attraction, retention, and retrieval. Gaining easy access to adequate food supplies is thought to have been an essential factor in the success of early man. To fish in fecund water requires very little energy and time, and this enabled our ancestors to pursue other activities, meaning that they were able not just to survive but to prosper. Number 3. Drill. Humans learn how to bore small holes with drill around 35,000 BCE. It is thought that early man used primitive drill, perhaps a modified spear, to pierce wood and animal skins. Much later, the woodworkers of ancient Egypt refined this technique by making any necessary holes with a bow drill. The Romans replaced the bow drill with the auger, but bit froze between turns. It was not until the Middle Ages that the use of the carpenter's brace made continuous rotation of the drill possible. The term drill may either refer to the machine supplying the rotational energy needed for penetration or to the drill bit, which is the part that rotates and actually cuts into the materials. Various kinds of drills have evolved to meet specific needs. Number 4. Sharp stone blades. The use of stone instruments more than 2 million years ago heralded what we call the Stone Age and the very origin of humankind. While it is impossible to date when distinctly worked stone blades first appeared in the world, it seems to have occurred around 30,000 BCE. Various kinds of stones were used to make blades, although one of the most popular was flint, leading to the term flint nappa. The period after the end of the last ice age, 10,000 years ago, was characterized by increasingly sophisticated stone tools with multiple uses. Other tools were produced using blades made by napped flint or obsidian, a type of naturally occurring glass. Small, sharp blades known as microliths became part of wooden cutting implements for use in farming, as well as barbs on arrows and spears, making them particularly effective as hunting weapons. Number 5. Bow and arrow. Evidence of the early use of bows and arrows has been found in cave paintings in Western Europe and North Africa. Its development probably arose in the Old Stone Age around 20,000 BCE. Bows and arrows were portable, easy to make, and the materials to make them were relatively easy to obtain. The arrow was a thin shaft of wood sharpened at one end with feathers attached to the other to give it aerodynamic stability. Arrowheads were made from flint or other rocks, antler or bone. The bow was the first machine that stored energy. Energy from the archer's muscles gradually transferred to the bow as it was drawn back. When the bow was released, it gave the projected arrow a far greater velocity than that produced by a spear thrower. In about 15,000 BCE, a shorter and lighter bow was developed. Short and curved, it was built up from layers of materials that reacted differently under tension and compression. It was an accurate weapon to use from horseback. Modern bows are made from fiberglass, carbon, and aluminium, as well as wood, while the arrows are usually made up of composite materials. Number 6. Boomerang. Boomerang is an easily retrievable weapon. The oldest boomerang so far found was discovered in a cave in the Carpathian Mountains in southern Poland and is believed to be dated from 18,000 BCE. The practice of throwing wood has also been illustrated in North African rock paintings. Ancient tribes in Europe are said to have been used a throwing axe. In Egypt, a special type of curved stick was used by the pharaohs for hunting birds. The use of throwing woods is thought to have spread throughout North Africa from Egypt to Atlantic. Boomerangs are most commonly associated with Australian Aborigines. They have been made in various shapes and sizes depending on their geographical origins and intended function. In the past, they have been used as hunting weapons, musical instruments, battle clubs, and recreational toys. Other types of boomerangs are of the non-returning sort, and some were not thrown at all, but were used in hand-to-hand combat by Australian Aborigine people. The throwing wood, however, was mainly used for hunting rather than as battle weapon. Number 7. Braided rope. One of the oldest artifacts in the world, rope is still extensively used in many environments. The oldest evidence of man-made rope was found in the caves of Lascaux, southwest France, and date from 17,000 BCE. Rope has always been used to tie and carry prey, making it an essential hunting tool. Before machinery made it possible to create long lengths of rope, essential in sailing ships, weaving fibers was done by hand, an arduous process. The ancient Egyptian developed the first tools for weaving rope, which they used to move huge stones. Machines for spinning long lengths of rope were later housed in buildings called cakewalks or roperies, which could be up to 275 meters long. Number 8. Alcoholic drink. The accidental fermentation of a mixture of water and fruit in sunlight is thought to have led to the first discovery of an alcoholic drink. Evidence of intentionally fermented beverages exists in the form of Stone Age beer jugs dated as early as the Neolithic period 10,000 BCE. Alcoholic beverages have been an integral part of many cultures, used as a source of nutrition in meals, for celebration, and also in religious ceremonies. Beer was the first known alcoholic beverage, but many others have been produced since then. The Chinese are thought to have produced yellow wine 4,000 years ago. In Europe, the monasteries owned the best vineyards. French monks produced a sparkling wine which was named after the Champagne region of France. Number 9. Sling. The sling is a prehistoric weapon, probably dating back more than 10,000 years. The oldest surviving slings were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, dating from 1325 BCE. And of course, slings feature in Bible, most of in the stories of David and Goliath. A sling is used to throw a missile many times further than is possible with human arms alone. It consists of a cradle or pouch in between two lengths of cord. A stone is placed in the pouch. As a weapon, the sling was great success. Being cheap to make, light to carry, easy to use, and relying on ammunition that was readily available. Number 10. Chisel. Chisel-like tools have been dated to the Paleolithic era, which stretches across a vast expanse of evolutionary time, from before the first Homo sapiens to roughly 10,000 BCE. During this time, humans were making and refining stone tools, which became gradually more specialized over time. Other materials were also used, and bone chisel from around 30,000 BCE have been uncovered in southern France near the village of Huangnac. Although very difficult to date exactly, it is thought that by about 70,000 BCE, what we would recognize today as chisel was in fairly common use.
Thank you for watching. Please share and subscribe. I'm Sunil Choudhary. I will meet you with the next video.